Maria, a Catholic, got married and had 10 children. After her first husband died, she remarried and had 10 more children. A few weeks after her second husband died, Maria also passed away. At Maria's funeral, the priest looked skyward and said, "At last, they're finally together." Her sister sitting in the front row said, "Excuse me, Father, but do you mean she and her first husband, or she and her second husband?" The priest replied, "I mean her legs." Two blondes were talking together. First, "How about you, Jim? Is he keeping well?" Second, "She's not just now engaged." First, "Hi, good news." His nose was too big and his head was bald with an ugly face. Second, "He is now my husband." One day 3 women went to the top of a water flume in a swimming pool. There was a black-haired, brown-haired, and a blonde-haired woman. When they got to the top, a genie appeared from nowhere and said, "When you're going down the flume, shout out the one thing that you want and you will land in it at the bottom." So the black-haired woman went down and shouted, "Money," and landed in a load of cash. The brown-haired woman went down and shouted, "A gorgeous man," and landed in a pile of men. The blonde woman wasn't listening to the genie, so she went down shouting, "Wee-ee." A man was walking in the street when he heard a voice, "Stop. Stand still. If you take one more step, a brick will fall down on your head and kill you." The man stopped and a big brick fell right in front of him. The man was astonished. He went on, and after a while he was going to cross the road. Once again the voice shouted, "Stop. Stand still. If you take one more step, a car will run over you and you will die." The man did as he was instructed, just as a car came careening around the corner, barely missing him. "Where are you?" the man asked. "Who are you?" "I am your guardian angel," the voice answered. "Oh, yeah?" the man asked. "And where were you when I got married?" A man called the undertaker one afternoon and sobbed, "Come and bury my wife." "But I buried your wife 10 years ago," replied the undertaker. "I got married again," the man sobbed. "Oh," said the undertaker. "Congratulations." A woman meets with her lover, who is also her husband's best friend. They make love for hours. Afterwards, as they lie in bed, the phone rings. Since it's the woman's house, she picks up the receiver. The best friend listens, only hearing her side of the conversation. "Hello? Oh, hi. I'm so glad that you called." "Really? That's wonderful. Well, I'm happy to hear you're having such a great time." "Oh, that sounds terrific. Love you, too." "Okay. Bye, bye." She hangs up the telephone and her lover asks, "Who was that?" "Oh," she replies, "that was my husband telling me about the wonderful time he's having on his fishing trip with you." This woman rushed to see her doctor, looking very much worried and all strung out. She rattles off, "Doctor, take a look at me. When I woke up this morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and saw my hair all wiry and frazzled up, my skin was all wrinkled and pasty, my eyes were bloodshot and bugging out, and I had this corpse-like look on my face. What's wrong with me, doctor?" The doctor looks her over for a couple of minutes, then calmly says, "Well, I can tell you that there is nothing wrong with your eyesight." A man goes into the doctor's office feeling really bad. After a thorough examination, the doctor calls him into his office and says, "I have some bad news. You have HAGS. What is HIGS? The man asks. It's herpes, AIDS, gonorrhea, and syphilis, says the doctor. Oh my God, says the man. What are you going to do? We are going to put you in an isolated room and feed you pancakes and pizza. Is that going to help me? Says the man. No, says the doctor. But it's the only food we can think of that we can slide under the door. As the man made his way to his seat at the World Cup final, he couldn't help but feel excited. But as he sat down by the pitch, he noticed the seat next to him was empty. What a waste, he thought to himself. Who would have a seat like this and not use it? Curiosity getting the best of him, he leaned over to his neighbor and asked if someone would be sitting there. No, the neighbor replied. The seat is empty. The man couldn't believe it. This is incredible, he exclaimed. But seriously, who in their right mind would pass up the chance to watch the World Cup final from this seat? That's when the neighbor dropped a bombshell. Actually, the seat belongs to me. I was supposed to come with my wife, but she passed away. This is the first World Cup final we haven't been to together since we got married. The man's heart sank. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. That's terrible. But then he had an idea. Couldn't you find someone else to take her seat? A friend, relative, or even a neighbor? The neighbor shook his head. No, he said. They're all at the funeral. A man lies on his deathbed surrounded by his family, a weeping wife and 4 children. 3 of the children are tall, good-looking, and athletic, but the 4th and the youngest is an ugly runt. Darling wife, the husband whispers, assure me that the youngest child really is mine. I want to know the truth before I die, I will forgive you if. The wife gently interrupts him. Yes, my dearest, absolutely, no question, I swear on my mother's grave that you are his father. The man dies, happy. The wife mutters under her breath, thank God he didn't ask me about the other 3. Mother. How is your history paper coming along, dear? Daughter. Well, my history professor suggested that I use the internet for research and it's been very helpful. Mother. Really? Daughter. Yes, and so far I've located 17 people who sell them. A concerned husband went to a doctor to talk about his wife. He says to the doctor, Doctor, I think my wife is deaf because she never hears me the first time and always asks me to repeat things. Well, the doctor replied, go home and tonight stand about 15 feet from her and say something to her. If she doesn't reply, move about 5 feet close and say it again. Keep doing this so that we'll get an idea about the severity of her deafness. Sure enough, the husband goes home and does exactly as instructed. He starts off about 15 feet from his wife in the kitchen as she is chopping some vegetables and says, Honey, what's for dinner? He hears no response. He moves about 5 feet closer and asks again. No reply. He moves 5 feet closer. Still no reply. He gets fed up and moves right behind her, about an inch away, and asks again, Honey, what's for dinner? She replies, for the 4th time, vegetable stew. Over breakfast one morning, a woman said to her husband, I bet you don't know what day this is. Of course I do, he irritatingly answered, going out the door to the office. At 11 a.m., the doorbell rang, and when the woman opened the door, she was handed a bouquet of red roses. At 2 p.m., a 2-pound box of her favorite chocolates arrived. Later, a boutique delivered a designer dress. The woman couldn't wait for her husband to come home. First the flowers, then the chocolates, and then the dress, she exclaimed. I've never had a more wonderful Independence Day in all my life. Hey there, I put a lot effort into making these videos, so please subscribe for more jokes and stay happy. Thank you.